People say you're dramatic, sensitive, negative, too intense, too weird, cute. But what if the traits you hate most are the only reason you survived? This isn't a personality test. It's an autopsy of the parts of you that everyone misdiagnosed as flaws. Let's start with the one you've been hiding the hardest. Number 7. You always expect something to go wrong. People call you negative, cute, as if your brain chose fear the way people choose new hobbies. You don't worry too much. Your brain simply runs disaster simulations with the dedication of a full-time employee who hates their job but refuses to quit. When life gets quiet, normal people relax. You? You smell danger like a smoke detector with PTSD. Plans? You rehearse every scenario except the one where things go right. People? You predict disappointment before they even introduce themselves. Everyone says, just enjoy the moment. Yeah, sure. Tell that to the brain that remembers every time the moment was followed by a plot twist from hell. On the surface, it looks like anxiety. Underneath, it's hypervigilance, your built-in early warning system. You don't sense danger, you forecast it. You read micro shifts in tone, expression, energy like you were born with emotional radar. You see the breakup 3 months before it happens. You feel drama brewing before anyone else smells smoke. You detect lies that haven't even been spoken yet. The flaw: your nervous system is tired of doing night shifts for free. The superpower: you're a strategist disguised as a worrier, a human storm detector, a pattern-recognizing machine that never got paid what it's worth. You don't need to stop scanning. You need better questions. Not, what could go wrong? But, what could go right? And how do I stop sabotaging it? Number 6, you feel too sensitive to people and places. People say you're too sensitive. Translation: you notice things they're too oblivious to see. Noise drains you. Crowds fry your brain. Fake conversations feel like someone dragging a fork across your soul. You don't read the room. You scan it, like a human TSA machine detecting emotional contraband. You walk into a place and instantly feel something's off. No evidence. No explanation. Just that quiet, uncomfortable radio signal your brain picks up before your mind catches up. Growing up, you heard things like, stop overreacting. Don't be so dramatic. Why do you take everything so personally? Right, because the healthy response to emotional landmines is to walk on them barefoot. You tried to be chill. You tried to be normal. You tried to not feel the earthquake under the floorboard that everyone else pretends isn't happening. But your sensitivity isn't a glitch. It's signal amplification. Your nervous system is basically a studio-grade microphone in a world full of people using dollar store headphones. You notice the tremor in someone's voice when they say, I'm fine. You sense tension between two people who swear it's nothing. You feel someone pulling away before they even admit it to themselves. This doesn't make your life easier. It makes it louder, sharper, more detailed than anyone asked for. The flaw: you feel fragile, like your emotions bruise too easily. The superpower: you're running emotional HD while everyone else is watching reality in 144p. People need drama to see truth. You only need a shift in tone. You're not sensitive. You're calibrated. Your task isn't to numb yourself. It's to learn this sentence. Just because I feel it doesn't mean I must fix it. Your sensitivity is a tool. Stop using it as a self-destruction weapon. Number 5, you shut down instead of exploding. People think you're calm, stable, unbothered, admirable even, cute. They have no idea. When something hits you too hard, you don't yell. You don't cry. You don't slam doors. You power down like someone unplugged your emotional operating system. On the outside, quiet, composed, fine. On the inside, Windows error, System overloaded, reboot required. People call you cold, distant, emotionless. Meanwhile, your brain is in the corner performing emergency surgery to keep you alive. Shutdown isn't lack of emotion. Shutdown is maximum emotion with nowhere to go. Your mind learned a brutal truth early on. If I feel all of this, I won't survive it. So it built a breaker switch, not pretty, not poetic, but extremely effective. Instead of exploding, you freeze. Instead of drowning in panic, you disconnect. Instead of burning in rage, you go grayscale. The flaw, you think you're broken because you don't react the way normal people do. The superpower, you can detach fast enough to stay functional when other people fall apart. This is the trait behind pilots landing failing planes, surgeons operating under chaos, leaders making impossible calls. You don't fall apart under pressure. You become pressure-proof. Your task isn't to destroy the shutdown switch. It saved you. But you do need a second skill. When you're safe, come back and finish the emotions you paused. Shutdown kept you alive. Processing will let you live. Number 4, you question everything, including yourself. People say, just trust yourself more, as if blind confidence were a virtue and not the reason half the world believes nonsense on the internet. You don't trust your thoughts automatically. You audit them. You examine your beliefs like a lawyer cross-examining a hostile witness. You poke holes in your ideas, your memories, your motives. You dissect conversations like a crime scene investigator trying to figure out who lied. Usually you. To the outside world, this looks like insecurity, neurosis, overthinking, paralysis. But underneath the chaos is something extremely rare: intellectual honesty. While most people cling to their ego like its flotation device, you're willing to ask, what if I'm wrong? What bias is controlling me? Is this thought even mine? Yes, it makes decisions slower. Yes, it makes your mind a complicated neighborhood to live in. The flaw, second guessing until you collapse. Analysis that spirals into overthinking. The superpower. You can dismantle false beliefs before they dismantle your life. You are harder to manipulate because you don't worship your own opinions. You adapt faster because you admit when evidence changes. You see contradictions before others even realize there was a point. Your task isn't to stop questioning. It's to set boundaries on when to stop. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me decide, or is it helping me avoid deciding? Doubt is a scalpel. Cut ideas with it, not yourself. Number 3, you either give 150% or nothing. People call you inconsistent, unreliable, lazy. That's adorable. Your problem isn't effort, it's meaning. Your brain runs on purpose like a car runs on fuel. Give it something shallow, boring, performative, and it shuts down like, oh, we're doing this? Yeah, no. You're not built for balanced productivity. You're built for obsession. When something hooks you, you lock in like a predator tracking heat signatures. Hours disappear. Meals disappear. Your sense of being a human being also disappears. But when something doesn't matter, you become allergic to it, physically incapable. Your whole body rejects it like a bad organ transplant. People think you're avoiding the task. They don't understand. The task is avoiding you. The flaw, you feel broken because you can't operate at medium. The superpower. Medium is for people built for maintenance. You're built for breakthroughs. This pattern shows up in artists who disappear into their work, scientists who chase one impossible problem, founders who survive failure after failure, people who create worlds from nothing but obsession. Your brain is a rocket engine. Problem is, society keeps asking you to be a lawnmower. Your job isn't to force yourself into normal effort mode. It's to build a life structure where mundane tasks are automated, boring tasks are minimized, meaningful tasks get your full firepower. You're not unreliable. You're a sniper being forced to water the plants. Number two, you're too intense in relationships. Ah, yes. The classic insult people use when they've only ever experienced low-quality connection. You're too much. Translation, I'm not used to real intimacy, and your emotional depth is making my skeleton sweat. You don't do casual. You don't do half-hearted. You don't do, let's just see what happens. If you care to the bone. If you love like the world could end tomorrow. And honestly, that terrifies people who only know how to bond at 5% intensity. You notice micro shifts, a shorter text, a colder tone, a slower reply, and your brain is already running diagnostics on the relationship like a NASA engineer checking for leaks. People call it neediness. But here's the truth. You crave depth, not attention. And in a world addicted to surface-level connection, depth looks threatening. So you shrink, pretend you don't care, play games you hate, follow dating rules written by people who fear vulnerability. But your intensity isn't dysfunction, it's capacity. Capacity for honesty, capacity for bond, capacity for love that doesn't have an ad break. The flaw, you feel like you overwhelm people. The superpower, you filter out the ones who were never capable of seeing you. Your intensity is a test. The wrong people fail it instantly. The right people feel relieved by it. Your job isn't to dim yourself. It's to stop offering lighthouse-level energy to people who prefer flashlights. Number one, you feel like an outsider. Everywhere you don't struggle to fit in, you've just never understood why everyone else is so committed to playing a game that feels rigged, boring, and badly written. Even when you like people, there's a thin layer of glass between you and the world. You participate, but part of you is hovering slightly above your own body thinking, why does everyone else find this normal? You tried blending in. You tried performing. You tried pretending the small talk mattered and the rituals made sense and the roles felt real. But your brain never fully downloaded the social software everyone else seemed born with. So you labeled yourself broken, defective, too different, an alien renting a human costume. But here's the truth. Feeling like an outsider isn't a flaw. It's a perspective glitch, the kind people spend years meditating to achieve. You see the culture from the outside. You question rules others swallow whole. You detect hypocrisy before the sentence even ends. You're the person who says, wait, why do we all agree to do this? And suddenly the illusion flickers. The flaw, loneliness, feeling like your frequency doesn't match any station. The superpower, you were built to think independently in a world that punishes independent thinking. Outsiders don't adapt to reality. They redesign it. They start movements, shift dynamics, and build spaces where people like them finally stop feeling wrong. You don't belong everywhere, but where you do belong, you'll belong with your whole being. Stop looking for people who tolerate your difference. Find the ones who recognize it like a mirror in the dark. Let's end the bedtime story you've been telling yourself for years. That your darkness is damage, your intensity is a burden, your sensitivity is a defect, your doubt is weakness, your shutdowns are malfunctions, your vigilance is paranoia, your outsider feeling is failure. None of that is true. Your traits were not mistakes. They were survival mechanisms in a world that demanded parts of you you were never built to sacrifice. So you adapted. You became sharp where others stayed soft. You became observant where others stayed blind. You became intense where others stayed numb. You became complex in a world begging for simplicity. But somewhere along the way, people convinced you that the armor that saved you was overreacting, that the instincts that protected you were too much, that the depth that made you powerful was inconvenient. So you turned on yourself. You started fighting the very traits keeping you alive. Here's the real twist. You were never hard to love. You were just surrounded by people who loved on easy mode. You were never broken. You were never failing. You were never too complicated. You were operating at a resolution the world wasn't ready to see. Your darkness isn't something to fix. It's something to understand, train, aim, control, and eventually use. Because the parts of you that feel the most unlovable are the parts of you that will make the biggest impact once you stop apologizing for them. And if this hit a little too hard, good. That means the war inside you is finally ready to end.